Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries. Book, Coming Alive, 4 Tools to Defeat Your Inner Enemy, Ignite Creative Expression, and Unleash Your Soul's Potential by Phil Stutz. Part 1, Summary of 3 parts. Part 1, The Enemy Within, Awakening to the Battle for Your Own Soul. Every human being, at some point, feels a silent tug-of-war deep inside, a constant battle between the force that wants to create, expand, live fully, and the force that whispers, stay small, stay safe, don't risk it. Phil Stutz calls this dark force Part X, the invisible enemy within us all. Part X is not a metaphor. It's a living energy that feeds off fear, resistance, and inertia. It's the shadow that convinces you that you're not ready, not good enough, not capable enough. It thrives in procrastination, perfectionism, self-doubt, and that subtle fatigue that makes you choose distraction over destiny. In Coming Alive, Stutz isn't interested in comforting platitudes or surface-level motivation. He takes us on a fierce, practical journey to awaken a power that lies dormant within. The power to defeat Part X and ignite the creative fire of your soul. His message is simple yet revolutionary. You don't have to feel alive to start coming alive. You start acting, and aliveness follows. The reality of pain and resistance. From the very first pages, Stutz dismantles the fantasy that life should be smooth, predictable, or painless. He declares, with the candor of a truth-teller, that pain is not the problem. Resisting pain is. Every person who has ever done something great has faced fear and discomfort. The difference between the dreamers who remain stuck and the ones who rise is this. The latter learn to move through pain rather than flee from it. He introduces us to a striking insight. We all live in what he calls the maze. This is the illusionary space where we chase solutions that promise a life free from difficulty. Better jobs, perfect relationships, endless distractions. Yet no matter how much we chase, we circle back to the same emptiness, because the maze feeds on avoidance. Only when you stop trying to escape the pain and start engaging with it, do you begin to rise beyond the walls of the maze. The call to conscious action. Stutz believes that true transformation begins the moment you accept life's central law. There will always be uncertainty, pain, and work. These 3 forces are not punishments. They're the raw materials of aliveness. Once you face this reality head-on, something miraculous happens. The anxiety and confusion begin to lose their grip. You stop waiting for the perfect time, and you begin acting now. Every day, the universe presents you with 2 choices. Listen to Part X and stay small, or step forward into the unknown and grow. Coming alive, then, isn't a single breakthrough. It's a daily act of courage. Tool 1, the reversal of desire. And so, Stutz gives us his first weapon against Part X, the reversal of desire. This tool flips our relationship with pain. Instead of recoiling from discomfort, we learn to run toward it. You imagine the pain or fear you're facing as a wall of black mist. Instead of standing frozen before it, you shout inside your mind, "Bring it on," and "I love pain." Then you move straight through it. The moment you push through that imagined wall, you enter a realm of freedom and power. You say to life, "I am no longer your victim. I am your participant." Why does this matter? Because every act of creation, every dream, every breakthrough, every relationship worth having, demands that we pass through discomfort. The reversal of desire trains your mind to see that pain is not the end, but the beginning. Behind the black mist lies the pure energy of forward motion, the feeling of being truly alive. This tool doesn't eliminate pain. It transforms it into fuel. You begin to see that the fire which once burned you can now illuminate your path. Facing the truth of being human. Phil Stutz reminds us that all of us, no matter how confident or accomplished, wrestle with the same inner demon. No one is exempt. A musician who doubts her next song, the entrepreneur hesitating on a bold idea, the parent fearing failure, they all face part X. But here's the golden truth. The presence of resistance means you're moving in the right direction. It means you're stepping toward growth. As Stutz puts it, the more resistance you feel, the more important the action is to your soul. So the goal is not to be fearless. The goal is to develop a new relationship with fear, to see it as a signal that you're alive, not a symptom that you're broken. The Awakening. As part 1 unfolds, the book begins to awaken something ancient within the reader, a quiet remembrance that life was never meant to be easy, but it was meant to be meaningful. Every challenge, every rejection, every failure carries within it a sacred call to evolve. When you use the first tool, when you choose to go through rather than around, you begin to reclaim your soul's rightful territory. You step out of the maze. You stop chasing comfort and start cultivating courage. And in that moment, something miraculous begins to stir. The first flicker of aliveness. You feel energy rising, not from outside approval, but from within your being. You start to sense that perhaps, just perhaps, the universe is not your enemy after all. It's your greatest trainer. Part 1 closes with a challenge. Stop asking, when will my life get easier? Start asking, when will I start using my pain to come alive? Because the truth is, the aliveness you seek is hidden inside the very thing you've been avoiding. And Phil Stutz, like a wise guide through the wilderness of the human spirit, hands you the torch, daring you to light your own way forward. Part 2, Igniting the Creative Force, the Journey Beyond Resistance. After facing your inner darkness in Part 1, you stand at a new threshold of awareness. You've stared into the eyes of Part X, the inner saboteur, and dared to move through the wall of fear using the reversal of desire. But Phil Stutz reminds us that defeating resistance once is not the end. It's only the beginning, because every new level of growth awakens a new layer of challenge. To live alive is not to escape struggle. It is to dance with it. The next step, Stutz says, is to ignite a force that has been waiting quietly inside every human being since birth. A luminous current he calls the life force. This is not an abstract concept. It is the essence that animates all growth, the invisible river of energy that flows when we align body, heart, and soul. When this force is active, your life moves with momentum. You wake up with purpose. You feel connected to something far greater than your personal story. But when the life force is blocked, even the smallest task feels heavy. Days feel gray. Dreams lose their pulse. You may appear alive on the outside, but something deep within lies dormant. The life force triangle. Phil Stutz unveils the secret of reawakening your vitality through what he calls the life force triangle, composed of 3 levels that must all be nourished if you wish to come alive again. 1. The relationship with your body. 2. The relationship with other people. 3. The relationship with something higher. Level 1. The body, the gateway to energy. At the foundation of this triangle lies your body, the vessel through which aliveness flows. Many of us, Stutz says, treat our bodies as inconveniences or afterthoughts. We live in our heads, trying to think our way into change. But true transformation begins with movement. He writes that the body is your anchor in the present moment. When you move, breathe deeply, eat well, and rest consciously, you are not just maintaining your health. You are declaring to life, I am here. I choose to participate. If your body is ignored, your mind loses direction. You sink into inertia. But the moment you reconnect, through exercise, nature, breath, or even posture, you awaken the first spark of the life force. So the invitation is simple. Move your body daily, not to chase perfection, but to stir the sacred energy of being alive. Level 2, relationships, the heart's connection. The second level is your connection to others. When we're trapped by part X, we often retreat into isolation, convinced that we must solve life alone. Yet isolation is the playground of despair. Stutz emphasizes that sharing energy, through authentic connection, compassion, and contribution, feeds the life force like nothing else. Every time you listen deeply, offer help, forgive, or express gratitude, you strengthen the heart's current. You shift from self-centered survival to shared humanity. When we give, something miraculous happens. Our inner energy multiplies. It's as if the universe rewards the act of connection by sending us back double what we gave away. The life force thrives on circulation. The more you pour out, the more flows in. Level 3, the higher connection, the infinite source. At the top of the triangle is your connection to something higher. Call it God, the universe, destiny, spirit. It doesn't matter what name you choose. What matters is that you remember, you are not alone in this world. This connection isn't about religion. It's about meaning. It's the recognition that your life, no matter how ordinary it may appear, is part of something vast and sacred. When you align with that truth, you begin to draw power from beyond yourself. Stutz writes that every act of faith, every time you move forward, even when the outcome is uncertain, builds your bridge to this higher plane. And as this connection strengthens, you experience a peace that no success or failure can shake. This is the secret of those who radiate calm in chaos, who seem lit from within. Their strength does not come from the absence of problems, but from the presence of meaning. The second tool, active love. Once the life force begins to move through you, Phil Stutz arms you with the next great weapon in your arsenal, active love. Where the reversal of desire helps you face pain, active love helps you conquer hatred, bitterness, and resentment, the silent poisons of the soul. He explains that resentment cuts you off from your life force. It traps you in the illusion of separation. The longer you hold on to anger, the more you drain your energy. To come alive, you must learn to transform that dark energy back into light, and active love is the method. Here's how it works. When you think of someone who has hurt or frustrated you, visualize yourself surrounded by an infinite source of love. Feel this love expanding in your heart until it overflows. Then, direct that love toward the person, not to approve of their actions, but to free yourself from the prison of hate. Something astonishing occurs. Your resentment dissolves, your energy rises, and your life force surges. The very act of sending love releases the hold of negativity and returns you to your natural state of flow. Stutz insists that this isn't weakness, it's strength of the highest order, because when you can love in the face of pain, you've transcended the grip of part X, rising from stagnation to creation. By now, the reader begins to sense that coming alive is not just a philosophy, it's a call to battle. A battle to reclaim your vitality, your creativity, and your connection to the divine. Every time you use the tools, when you move through fear, when you nourish your life force, when you practice active love, you reclaim territory from the enemy within. You begin to create instead of react. You stop waiting for permission to live fully and start generating your own energy. Stutz calls this the transition from victim to creator. It is the most important transition of your life. because once you realize you can generate energy internally through your choices, not your circumstances, you become unstoppable. The call to inner leadership. Part 2 ends with a revelation. Coming alive is not about self-improvement. It's about self-leadership. You are being trained to become the leader of your own inner world. The life force is your compass, your creative essence, and your connection to everything that matters. And as you nurture it, you start to see your outer life change in ways you never imagined. Synchronicities appear. People respond differently. You begin to attract opportunities aligned with your higher self. Because energy moves first inside you, then outward into the world. Part 2 closes with this profound reminder. The power you seek has never been missing. It was waiting beneath the weight of your own resistance. Now that you've awakened the life force, your next challenge is to learn how to channel it, to build, to create, to express the divine spark that burns within. Part 3, the soul's awakening, living as a creator in a world of chaos. The moment you awaken your life force, the world itself begins to shift. Not because it suddenly becomes easier, but because you have changed. The fog that once blurred your vision lifts, revealing that the chaos outside was always a reflection of the chaos within. Phil Stutz opens Part 3 with a powerful truth. You are meant to be a creator, not a spectator. But the world will constantly tempt you to forget. And indeed, the battle doesn't end with awareness. It deepens. For even after you've learned to move through pain, the reversal of desire, and reignite your life force, active love, Part 10 lurks in the background, waiting for its next opportunity to pull you back into doubt, fear, or despair. It whispers, "You're making no progress. You're fooling yourself. You're not special." But Stutz reminds us, the fact that these whispers exist is proof that you're on the right path. Because Part 10 attacks only those who are advancing. The stronger your light, the louder your darkness. And so, in Part 3, he gives us the final 2 tools, the ones that teach us not just to survive the storm, but to dance in it. Tool 3, Inner Authority, the voice of the higher self. The third tool is called Inner Authority, and it is the antidote to the voice of self-doubt. Most of us have lived our lives under the dictatorship of external approval. We've built our self-worth from what others think, what we achieve, or how the world responds to us. But this dependence makes us fragile. One criticism, one rejection, and our confidence crumbles. Inner authority is about breaking that chain. It is about tuning in to a voice far more powerful than the world's applause, the voice of your higher self. Phil Stutz explains that within every person lies a deeper consciousness, a presence that remains untouched by success or failure. When you connect with it, you stop chasing validation. You stop performing. You start being. The practice is simple yet profound. Whenever you feel small, anxious, or inadequate, imagine a radiant presence standing behind you, taller, stronger, wiser. This is your higher self. Speak through it. Act from it. Let it guide your posture, your tone, your choices. Over time, you begin to sense that this higher self is not imaginary. It is you, stripped of fear and ego. It's the part of you that remembers who you were before the world told you who to be. And when you start living from this place, everything changes. You walk into rooms differently. You speak with calm authority. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop seeking permission to exist. Stutz calls this the energy of certainty, a quiet, grounded confidence that does not depend on results. It radiates from those who have learned to anchor themselves in something unshakable. This tool reminds you that you don't need to wait until you feel ready. Readiness is not emotional, it's spiritual. You declare it, then act upon it. Tool 4. The Grateful Flow, the Art of Transcendence. Once inner authority is awakened, there remains one final force that lifts you above the chaos, the tool of the grateful flow. Gratitude, Stutz explains, is not a polite sentiment. It is a cosmic power. It turns your focus away from what's missing and reconnects you to the abundance that already surrounds you. But this is not the shallow gratitude of reciting thank yous before bed. The grateful flow is an active state, a deliberate current of energy that you summon and sustain. Here's how it works. When you feel trapped in negativity, close your eyes and think of one thing, just one, that you genuinely appreciate. Let that feeling fill your heart. Then, let it flow outward, expanding into other things you're grateful for, your breath, your strength, your chance to live another day. As you do this, you'll notice something miraculous. The noise of worry fades. The grip of fear loosens. The inner chatter quiets. Why? Because gratitude raises your energy above the reach of Part X. It's as if your soul steps onto a higher frequency, a place where darkness cannot survive. Phil Stutz writes, "When you live in the grateful flow, you don't need life to be perfect. You realize it already is." The practice of gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it illuminates it. You begin to see that even suffering carries hidden gifts, strength, wisdom, empathy. The more you acknowledge these gifts, the faster your soul evolves. And with this evolution comes freedom. Freedom from comparison, fear, and the illusion of lack. Living the tools, becoming a generator of light. By now, the reader understands the grand design of coming alive. Each tool builds upon the last, guiding you from survival to creation, from reaction to leadership, from fear to love. The reversal of desire teaches you to move through pain instead of avoiding it. Active love transforms resentment into energy. Inner authority reconnects you with your higher self. The grateful flow lifts you beyond negativity and restores your connection to the divine rhythm of life. These are not theoretical ideas. They are practical, spiritual technologies. The more you use them, the more life responds in kind. You begin to realize that you are no longer at the mercy of your moods or circumstances. You are a generator of light in a dark world. You don't wait for inspiration. You create it. You don't hope for motivation. You become it. Stutz's genius lies in his understanding that aliveness is not a reward for the lucky. It's the birthright of the brave. The universe doesn't choose favorites. It responds to movement. When you act from courage, the universe moves with you. The Creator's Way. In the final pages, Stutz paints a vision of what it means to truly come alive. To come alive is to live each day as an artist of energy, shaping your experience through intention, courage, and love. It is to accept that you will never arrive, but you can always awaken. When you use the tools daily, your perception shifts. Setbacks become teachers. Pain becomes fuel. Resistance becomes a signpost toward your purpose. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to awaken in me?" That is the question of a creator. That is the mindset of the alive. Key insights and takeaways from the book. The real enemy lives within. Meet Part X. Your greatest obstacle isn't the world outside. It's the voice inside that tells you to stop. At the heart of coming alive lies the understanding that every human being carries a silent adversary within. Part X. It's the internal saboteur, the voice of fear, self-doubt, laziness, and cynicism that resists your growth. Part X's mission is simple: to keep you small, safe, and stagnant. It whispers excuses, magnifies fear, and seduces you into procrastination or perfectionism. The key insight is this: you cannot negotiate with Part X, you must confront it. And the only way to defeat it is through action and discipline. Every time you move forward despite resistance, you reclaim power from your inner enemy. Lesson: the war for your potential is an inner war. You win it, not by comfort, but by courageous movement through discomfort. 2. Pain is not the problem, avoidance is. Phil Stutz dismantles one of modern life's greatest illusions, that happiness comes from avoiding pain. In truth, every time you run from discomfort, you strengthen Part X. The great paradox of life is this: the path to freedom runs straight through the heart of pain. Stutz offers the reversal of desire, a tool that trains you to move toward pain, not away from it. By doing so, you convert fear into fuel. When you face pain directly, it shrinks. When you avoid it, it grows. Lesson: growth demands friction. The very pain you resist holds the energy you need to evolve. The life force, the source of true energy. One of the most transformative concepts in coming alive is the discovery of the life force, the ever-flowing current of vitality that connects body, heart, and spirit. When this force is alive within you, you feel inspired, purposeful, and in sync with life's rhythm. When it's blocked, you feel numb, drained, and detached. The life force triangle, body, people, higher self, shows how energy must flow in all directions. Nurture your body through movement and care. Connect with others through giving and compassion. Commune with your higher self through meaning, gratitude, and faith. Lesson: aliveness isn't a gift you receive. It's a current you generate by participating in life fully. Love is an act of power, not emotion. Through the second tool, active love, Stutz teaches a life-altering truth. Love is not a feeling, it's an action. When you hold resentment, you cut off your life force. Hatred consumes energy. Forgiveness releases it. Active love is a deliberate practice of transforming bitterness into compassion. You visualize love as energy flowing from your heart outward, even toward those who've hurt you. You don't do it to approve of their actions, but to free yourself from their emotional hold. Lesson: love is the highest form of strength. It purifies your inner world and reclaims your energy from negativity. 5. The power of inner authority. Stop seeking permission to exist. Most people live as slaves to external validation, desperate for praise, terrified of rejection. But the third tool, inner authority, invites you to anchor your worth in something deeper: your higher self. Your higher self is that quiet, unshakable part of you that remains whole, no matter what happens. When you act from this place, you no longer need the world's approval. You carry your own light. Phil Stutz teaches you to imagine this greater presence behind you and to speak and act from it. It infuses your actions with strength, dignity, and clarity. Lesson: true confidence is not arrogance. It's alignment with the higher self that already knows your worth. Thanks for listening to Welcome to Book Buzz Reviews and Summaries.